What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Peer Pleasure with Dewey Halpus on Equal Vision Records and Sound Talent Media. I am Dewey, your host with the most, bringing you more great content week after week. This week, our guest is David Sullivan from Red Fang. Red Fang has been making the podcast circuit rounds for months now with their new record coming out. So I did this interview with David a while back, and I held on to it for a while because I didn't want to inundate with more Red Fang podcast guests. And this one was kind of funny because David lives in Portland. I live in Portland. We did it over Zoom, even though we're, 10 minutes from each other. But it was just a strange thing because I've been in Portland for 21 years and we have, I think, 46 mutual friends on Facebook, which is crazy. People I've been in bands with, I don't even have that many friends in common, and we've never met each other. I've never seen Red Fang live. I've been in their house with roommates that are friends of mine that lived with the guys. They were always on tour when we weren't, so we never crossed paths. So in 21 years, I've never met or seen anybody from Red Fang, even though I've been in their homes. It's the weirdest fucking thing. So it was awesome to chat with David and get to know him because I've known of Red Fang and been a fan of Red Fang for a long time. I just have not gotten around to seeing them live and do the whole hangout thing or meet them. So it was awesome of him to come on, and it's always awesome to talk to people that I don't know because I find that I learn a lot from someone that I don't know because I spend a lot of time with people I do know just chatting about whatever. So we talked a lot about gear and a lot about guitar stuff, which we don't normally do, but he had some cool stuff and he was in his practice room. So we delved into a lot of that and kind of his upbringing with music and a lot of that stuff. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So thanks to David for coming on. Thanks to Monica for setting it up. Let's get some business out of the way and we'll jump into the episode. So peerpleasurepodcast.com is the website. peerpleasurepod@gmail.com is the email if you want to get in touch with me or shoot me any kind of guest ideas, questions, comments, anything like that. We've got the Facebook group, Peer Pleasure Podcast Inner Circle on Facebook. If you type that into the search bar, we'll add you on. It's a private group. We'll absolutely let you in. You'll be able to find out who's coming up early, be able to submit questions, things like that. It's a good thing to have if you're a fan of the show. If not, you probably don't give a shit, and that's fine. But if you're a fan of the show, I would definitely recommend doing it, and it is free. So on another note, signing up for the premium service, which will help the show out, that's peerpleasure.supportingcast.fm. That gives you access to the past cast where I jump in and do a podcast about other podcasters and fans of the show, their favorite episodes. So we go deep into those, kind of like an audio show notes or a footnote kind of thing. That's definitely on there. We also have the ad-free feed and the video footage of the episodes. So that's all in the premium, peerpleasure.supportingcast.fm. All right. So I've rambled enough. I'm going to get into this episode. Here it is with David Sullivan from Red Fang. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you got the sweet headset mic.
Yeah. I just sometimes, sometimes I don't have audio or whatever, but everything seems to be working good here.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good on my end, dude.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show, dude. It's funny.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're both in Portland, I'm guessing right now. You got your Music Millennium t-shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown by the Greyhound station at Studio. I always think it's funny doing Zoom over in the same town, even with COVID.
Yeah.
Like on the end.
Yeah.
But
I know. I was wondering. I saw in the our press person sent us this stuff, and she's like, "This guy's Portland," and I was like, and he played with Portugal the Man for a while, and I'm like, I bet we know some of the same folks, or at least familiar with some of the same folks. But yeah, it is kind of funny just doing a Zoom thing from across town, but it's cool.
I looked up on Facebook randomly today just to see, because I was like, we have 19 mutual friends on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And it's all the Portugal guys.
Yeah.
Nick Klein, all those guys, even Kyle Shutt.
Oh yeah.
But who's been on the show as well. But the weirdest thing with Red Fang is I've been here since 2000. Somehow, like everyone I know has come across you guys except for me. And not saying musically, but just like in any capacity, at a party, at a show, like I have not met one of you. And I've been at houses you guys have lived in, but you guys were on tour. Like I was always there, like when they're like, oh yeah, a couple guys from Red Fang live here. Like, oh, cool. Okay. But you guys were always gone. We were always at home. So it's this weird disconnect.
Yep. Passing ships.
Exactly. How are things treating you? Are you at home? Are you in a studio? What you got?
I'm at home. Yeah. This is my little, we live in a little apartment and we have a second bedroom, me and my wife. And so I get to have this extra room as my, office, I guess you can call it. But yeah, I can't really make noise here. I mean, I can play guitar. I can make a little bit of noise. I can't really be loud because it's apartment complex. But yeah, so I'm at my house.
Okay, yeah. That's incredibly frustrating.
Things are pretty good. I'm feeling like life is kind of slowly getting back to normal. With all the pandemic weirdness and things kind of getting back to normal. We have tours scheduled and stuff, so it kind of feels regular again, but it's kind of not still, I don't know.
Are you guys rehearsing?
Yeah. We've been practicing. It's a little bit of a challenge with our schedules because basically because of the pandemic, we weren't touring or doing anything. So we didn't have as much urgency to rehearse. And we didn't get together, for health reasons or whatever for a while, for like a full year. But our practice space is big enough and actually has a huge fan built in with you flip this light switch and this huge fan blows so we can really move air through there. But yeah, we're all vaccinated and all rehearsing again, except scheduling things is a little tricky because real life kind of took over. I mean, not that being in the band isn't real life, but you know what I mean? Just other things kind of took priority for a little bit. So we're getting back to that. But yeah, we just had a practice a couple of days ago.
Awesome.
Getting things back in shape.
Got to feel good getting tour ready.
It does. Yeah.
Did you have to get some day jobs then or like some side hustles going during this whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah. I do web stuff. So I build websites and Shopify stuff.
Oh, okay. So
I was able to do that. And I have a few people that I work with and I need to I'm bad about self-promotion. So I'm bad about bringing in new work, but yeah, I focused on that a lot. Oh, let me move my camera over here so I'm looking more at the camera. Or you're just using the audio for this anyway, right?
Yeah. I have the screen on.
I just noticed that I'm kind of like looking off to the side because I got two monitors here, and this will make it look like I'm, more looking right at you.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, we had to do jobs again, real jobs, but it was tough to find that stuff.
Yeah.
John did some construction stuff. Aaron works or he has worked with some animation companies, and so he worked on some he was I think he was, I don't want to speak for him, but he was like kind of a project manager or some sort of manager on an animation project.
Interesting.
But yeah, we had to, get some regular jobs because we weren't touring, and yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. If you're doing web stuff, you can do that from the road if you had to, couldn't you?
Yeah, and I have. Awesome. I have done that before. I find it hard to kind of be in like tour mode and then get into like coding mode. But yes, I have done that before where, after the show, hotel, and I've got my laptop and I'll do some web stuff. I like that I can do that, but I find that I get into like, coding, I kind of have to really focus on some things. It depends on what I'm doing, but if I'm trying to solve a problem, it's difficult for me to be on tour and focusing on work because also I'm just kind of tired usually at the end of the night or end of the day after a show. I don't want to open up the laptop and start thinking, how do I solve this Shopify coding problem or whatever. But yes, it is nice that I can do that from anywhere. It's kind of awesome.
How did you get into coding and stuff like that? That seems like a strange path for someone that does music.
Well, I didn't go to school for it. I went to school. I have a degree in design. I went to design school, and coding, like I didn't really take any computer classes or coding classes in school. It just kind of self-taught. I just kind of got into it and then kept exploring and learning. And I'm kind of always trying out new stuff. I build the Red Fang website, which is using React, actually it's using Next.js, which is a kind of a framework thing built on top of React. Anyway, I don't want to get too nerdy here. And anyway, I'm just always trying new things and learning stuff. And I like computers. But yeah, basically just self-taught. And after college, I got a job. I grew up in North Carolina.
Okay.
And after I finished college, I got a job at an ad agency. And they were like, we need somebody to build this website. And I was like, I can do that. And I didn't really know how to do it. I knew a little bit, and they were like, okay, you're doing it. And then, so I was like, oh boy, now I really have to learn this because this is a job for an actual client. And I did it, and it was fine. The website went up, and and I learned a lot. So that was a big part of it. Actually, I kind of forgot about for a second there. I kind of exaggerated my abilities, and they were like, okay, you're the web guy now. And so that was the beginnings of it. And that was quite a while ago. I've just always been a computer nerd, basically.
Okay. See, that's interesting to me. Like my cousin is a programmer, or he does coding for like a bunch of like a company that does all these like eHarmony and stuff like that. Those sites, or the kiosks at like a Target that do like the job kiosks. Mm-hmm. And he's just into it, but he's very straight laced, not super creative, very like linear by the book guy. So when someone is a musician and a creator that way, seeing you can view guitar linearly like the same way, but there's also a lot of feel to it. Code seems to be like it's this or not.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It does seem like kind of two sort of separate things. The more left brain and the right brain kind of oppose things, but you can be really creative with code. And not that I'm like really a good enough coder to be super creative, but I do mostly front end stuff. So so I get to I get to do some design stuff, and that's a little more my school background. But yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know. I guess I enjoy a little of both, I don't know.
That's good. You're well-rounded.
Yeah.
Were you self-taught on guitar as well?
Yeah. Awesome. I've the only time I ever took any music lessons, I think I was 9 years old, and my stepmom was like, you're going to take piano and ballet and tap dance. And I was like, I don't care about any of those. But I'll do it. And so I took some piano lessons it was only a couple of months. And so that's really the only real formal training. I was, it was a kid learning how to play piano, so it wasn't advanced at all. But yeah, I just basically try to play by ear and learn from other people, people showing me here's what I do, here's how I do this. And then, I just always loved it. So, but yeah, I never learned how to even read music or read tab or any of that kind of stuff. Never took any lessons. My little brother was in band in school, excuse me, and I was always a little jealous of that. But yeah, just basically self-taught, just always, I don't know, trying to get better at it.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for that. I'm the same way, a self-taught guitar. I never took a guitar lesson. My uncle showed me a few chords from the Beatles songbook when I was first learning. Like, this is what a G chord is. This is what an A chord is. Yeah. I never remembered them, but which made it really interesting starting to play with the Portugal guys, just because they didn't read music either. They didn't know the same thing, but they thought differently than I did. So everything was like a learning curve. Like they had a different approach to everything. But being self-taught in that stuff, that shows, a lot of initiative and just a creative spirit, like, I think a lot of people, and not to say negative things about lessons, but I think a lot of people that get lessons, like they show the mechanics of it, and they can make the car run, but they can't make it go like, a certain way. They can make it work.
I know what you mean.
So I love hearing that from people. I don't hear it a lot anymore. A lot of people through lessons and stuff, but the self-taught thing just shows a good spark.
Yeah. I think sometimes if you take lessons or approach it in a more formal way like that, you almost are kind of, it really depends. Some people can take lessons and be very creative and very expressive with it. But yeah, I think some people who take lessons, they end up focusing on the technical part of it, and they don't really have as much soul, if you will. It really depends. There's some players who really have a technical background and are really technically amazing and have the emotional part of it. I don't have much of a technical background. I look at a lot of guitar players and I'm like, oh, wow, I just do the best I can. But as far as, shredding and soloing and all that, I just do what I do,
Yeah. So you guys play with a lot of huge bands. So I'm assuming you guys, I don't know how it feels to be in that realm of, playing with these massive bands that are these players that are like looked up to by, millions of fans as far as like on their playing skills, and then going out every night and then having them stoked on what you're doing is awesome. Like to see that crossover, like no, we're a fan of you guys, and you're not, taught that way. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. I know some people are like, I do get intimidated by, like performing before or especially after someone who's really amazing and really good. But you just have to realize that it's just, you just do what you do and people seem to like it. So you don't have to be, some technical wizard, to make good music, I guess. Yeah. But it is a little nerve wracking. I sometimes like I've done, this is really nothing. It's not even I got asked to do some stuff for some guitar magazines, and they want me to film myself playing guitar. And I get so self-conscious. It's almost like it would be easier if it wasn't just me kind of talking to a camera, if it was me, and there was this whole show going on. But anyway, I feel like, tiny compared to a lot of these guitar players. Some people who we've played with are just amazing guitar players. And
it can be definitely nerve wracking. I just can't. Even, but you got to just know that people are there because, well, some of them are there for the other band, but a lot of them are there because you do what you do. They want to see you do what you do. Makes it a lot different. Have you always had that spirit, that kind of creative spark? You know what I mean? Like you're self-taught on guitar, self-taught on computers. Kind of seems like you knew what you were into early on, but do you know where that comes from? Like, were you always that way?
I think my mom, I grew up with my mom. My mom and dad divorced when I was young. And I think my mom just always encouraged me and my younger brother to be creative and be musical and, try to be, always drawing or just, I think she really encouraged that. We always had, there was a guitar around the house, like an old acoustic guitar. And she was always listening to records. And so I think it's mostly from that. My mom just really encouraging that. And I don't know. And I just love music, I just want to do it. It's like, I just want to play guitar. I want to make music. And the computer stuff, I don't know. I just always kind of have been a little bit of a nerd with computers and stuff. So that all kind of self-taught too. But I think I would definitely give some credit to my mom, that the environment she encouraged us to be creative and musical and all that. So yeah.
Was she a creative person as well, or was she just a big fan of music?
Yeah, she painted. I've got a painting on the wall here that she did. She painted. She did not so much music, but she really enjoyed music. She didn't play music.
She appreciated it.
Yeah, but she loved music. But yeah, more visual art for her. But yeah, and really, I guess as far as specifically how I learned or was encouraged to play guitar, a lot of that was my younger brother. We're 2 years apart, and he was a really good guitar player, and I learned a lot from him. And here's a weird thing about him: he's left-handed, and we never had a left-handed guitar, so he learned kind of like what's that guy, Jeff Healey? He's a guitar player who plays left-handed, but he puts the guitar in his lap and play instead of putting his hand around the neck of the guitar, he puts his hand on top of the guitar,
like a dobro style slide guitar.
Yeah, like like in your lap. So he could basically use his hands on it like this, or I'm getting all confused now. Yeah, like this. Fret hand over here would be his right hand, and his left hand picking, anyway, because he was left-handed, but we never had a left-handed guitar. So I used to sit across from him. We would basically sit across from each other at the guitar, and he would do his stuff, and I would, not really play while he was playing, but I would kind of watch him, and it was almost like, mirror style. Yeah. But anyway, I learned a lot from him because he got really into it when we were younger. I mean, and this is when we were like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. But anyway, I learned some from my younger brother. He picked it up a lot quicker than I did. Okay.
What an awesome way to unify both of you guys too, bring you guys together on something. You guys are close enough that you could be really good buddies. If it was like 5 or 6 years difference, you're kind of like, oh, get away from me, dude. Like moving on, but you guys are close enough. That's rad. Yeah, we were at least back then. I'm not as in touch as I should be with him recently, but yeah, we both loved guitar. We loved playing music. And then I remember he asked my dad for a guitar. My dad bought him a pretty nice Les Paul, like a real Gibson. I think it was in 1980 something. Yeah. My dad was like, yeah, here you go. And I was always like, wow, that guitar, it's amazing. But anyway, a lot of my early inspiration to play was from my younger brother, who was really good. And my dad also helped him by buying him a really nice Les Paul. But yeah. Does he still have that guitar? I think he does. That's excellent. I hope he does. I'm pretty sure he still has it. Yeah. I always said when I had kids, I wanted to buy them a Les Paul made in the month and year that they were born, and just whether they play it or not, it's going to be worth something by the time they're old enough to spend the money. I never did though. I never had enough money when they were born, so I totally failed on that one. But you said, so where did that guitar come from then? If your mom wasn't a musician, the guitar that was around the house, whose was it? It was an old acoustic, like with nylon strings, like a Spanish style guitar, and I believe it was my mom's guitar. I'm not really sure. She didn't really play the guitar, but it was she just had it. Yeah. It was her guitar, and it was always around. My memory is not super clear, but I think it was a Goya. That was the brand, Goya. Yeah. I think that was it. Sounds familiar. I don't know if that's, and I kind of vaguely remember that. And here's another little, I'm just thinking back about. This is great. Younger, but at some point I got real I wanted to play banjo. And so I asked my dad to buy me a banjo. And so he bought me a banjo, which I still have here. And I'm not very good at it, but I was really into that for a while. And especially living in North Carolina, there was, I love all kinds of music, but there was these bluegrass festivals. And when I was really young, my mom used to, she would sew a bunch of pillows, and then we'd bring them to the bluegrass festival, and she'd sell pillows, I guess, so people could have something to sit on while they're at this bluegrass festival. But anyway, and I am not good at banjo at all, but I can plunk around on it. And I learned, how to do the finger picking and a few chords and how to tune it, at least one style of tuning. I think it's kind of an open G thing. But anyway, I remember that we had that acoustic guitar. And then at some point my dad bought me a banjo, and it wasn't a very expensive banjo. It's not a really good one. But it's fine. Anyway, I was really excited about that for a while, and I haven't really messed with that in a while, but yeah, for a minute I was like, I'm going to learn how to do all this bluegrass style stuff. And then I
I didn't really spend enough time with it, but yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I making pillows to people to sit on. That's such
yeah. I think
great
my mom was kind of a
ingenuity.
hippie. It was kind of she was a little bit of a hippie.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she would sew a bunch of pillows, and then we go to these bluegrass festivals, and she would sell pillows.
That's wonderful. That's taking the bull by the horns right there. Got kids to support. There's an opportunity, taking the opportunity, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be where it stems from too, with you a little bit. And man, so did you develop any habits then doing that mirror technique with your brother? So, like Hendrix,
yeah,
no one sounds like Hendrix when they cover Hendrix because he's doing all these unnecessary things.
Yeah.
Because the way he learned.
Right.
So if you play it like it's written down, you're missing all this stuff. And that's why Hendrix sounds like Hendrix with these weird habits. Do you have any of those that you picked up from that?
No, I mean, not really, nothing, nothing I can remember and be like, oh yeah, I do this type of thing because of watching my brother or kind of playing with my brother back and forth with the guitar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not as much. I do kind of remember when I was younger at some point being really concerned with what's the proper technique for playing, or where should your thumb be on the back of the fretboard or in the back of the neck versus kind of wrapped around it. And I thought about these things and I kind of thought, oh, there's a right way to do this, but then I kind of gave up on that and I just did what felt comfortable. But as far as picking up techniques from me and Joe playing across from each other, not really, not that I can think of. I mean, I tried to do what he would do and play with my hand on top of the neck, but it's just crazy to to try to even just to do something as simple as a power chord where it's it's basically it's way too tricky. So I don't, and nowadays he can play with his hand under the neck and on top of the neck or either way. So, but yeah, I don't know if I really picked up any specific techniques from that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
the one thing I always had trouble incorporating my pinky into my playing on my fretting hand. So
yes, same here.
Eventually, one of the guitar players for the band we were in before Portugal named Joe Simon. I don't know if you know him. You might. He's been around.
Yeah.
Turbo Perfecto and
right.
Dr. Helicopter. At least
met him.
Doc Chop.
Yes.
With Wes. So Wes was actually my first friend I ever made when I moved up to the mainland in Alaska. We had our last names are almost the same, and so we shared a locker next to each other. And he's literally the first friend I met, and so he's literally my oldest friend from Alaska. But anyways, whole totally insider baseball side note, but shout out to Wes. Joe would make power chords with his pinky and his pointer finger instead of his ring finger. I always thought it was the weirdest thing ever, but I started doing that, and that totally changed the way I held the guitar, and then I could totally use my pinky no problem. Yeah, and I still do power chords with my pinky.
Okay, yeah. Now, you know what? I'm going to grab this guitar because I'm thinking about it. I think I do that I do that sometimes.
Yeah,
I think
you're already in position.
Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, it's kind of just the right amount of space there. Mm-hmm. I find myself doing, I don't know if you can even see that, but that, and then the pinky on the next one. Mm-hmm. Instead of a lot more than that. But it also just kind of depends on what, where you're going next, if you need, these fingers to do something else. But yeah, my pinky also was, it took a long time and it's still not as strong as it could be. And, and I've never really, done exercises or things like that, which I probably should. I feel like I play enough that I don't really need to do that. But yeah, getting your pinky strong is definitely a thing. Yeah. I remember talking about technique and stuff, learning how to do those bends where you kind of have, you're one of these guys, just one of these where you're bending the string up. So I used to always try it just with those two fingers. And then I realized, you can just put this other finger here and help push it. Anyway, I remember when I figured that out, I was like, that's way easier. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, I'm still working on things like that. Like I see people play and I'm like, wow, I really should, like I see these guys doing this sweep picking and stuff, and I'm just like,
God.
that's just mind blowing to me. It's like, it's really cool, and sometimes it sounds really cool, but I don't know if I had the patience to even try. And plus, well, I guess if I had that in my as a in my toolbox, if you will, then maybe I would do something that involved that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't really see myself learning that. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm still like struggling to do like pinch harmonics and things like that. And as far as tapping, like, I mean, I can kind of do some real weak sauce tapping, but it's not something that I can just throw into a song or into a part. So,
well, you guys are playing so thick too. Like a lot of that stuff wouldn't come through necessarily. And you get the clarity still, but like there's a lot of like just dense.
Yeah, we're a little more
density.
Caveman.
Yeah, exactly. So if you started sweep picking, like leg up on the monitors, sweep picking, people are going to throw up. That wouldn't
really make sense. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. I just, I love playing guitar, but as far as technique, I kind of feel like maybe I'm a little lazy in the technique department. I'm just, I don't know.
You're not sitting in the apartment all COVID learning to sweep pick. Like I tried that myself, and it's impossible. Sweep picking.
Impossible.
Yeah. I can't. And then people say like once you get it, you get it like instantaneously. Like after 20 hours of trying, it just makes sense. And then you're just doing it left and right. Like I don't think so.
I mean, okay, well, that's kind of reminded me of like when I was trying to learn how to play the banjo, just doing these roll patterns with your fingers, because it's not just, I mean, you can play a banjo with a pick, but anyway, you're using multiple fingers, and you can do that on guitar too. And I would actually sit there and like practice, like and try and keep doing it. And then it kind of got to a point where I was like, oh, I don't really have to think about this anymore. So yeah, there's something to be said for just practicing a technique, and then you kind of can use that and not have to think about it, and you can just maybe be creative with it. But yeah, sweep picking, I'm probably not going to pursue that.
That's the thing. You have to learn scales too, because that's what you're sweeping normally is a scale.
Right.
And I don't know those either. So I had to be taught a scale like a fifth grader. Yeah. And then like, okay, I got to play this that fast. Okay. Nope. Not going to happen. Yeah. Not today. I'll just, do something else to fill the space. It's like watching Brent from Mastodon. Like watching him play, he's like strangling the string when he's like, he's like in there just going. I love watching that, but I don't see him doing that either. But like, he's one of the greatest I've seen in a long time.
Him and Bill both are amazing.
Killer dudes. But just he's got that style where he's like strangling the guitar like he's just like it owes him money, like he's just like clawing it out of there like a meth addict picking at their hand, like just like anyway, that's completely off topic. But so thin lines. I saw you got a thin line back there. Are you a thin line guy?
Yeah, I love thin lines. I have, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 thin lines up here. And I like the 72 style, which has the humbuckers. I do have one of these, which I haven't actually played much, but so this is I think 69 is this style with the more traditional pickup setup, more traditional burst for a telly. But I like, the tobacco burst. This one was actually given to me by Fender, which is super nice.
That's
and
insane.
I need to use it more. Yeah, it's really nice of them. But yes, I love thin lines and tellies in general. I mean, I like a lot of guitars, but the thin line. So this was the first one I ever bought. It's an actual 72. The other ones are reissues. But so yeah, I got this in Raleigh, and like when I was living in Raleigh, I think it was probably, I don't know, 1990, 91 maybe.
Yeah.
And I paid $550
30 years ago. That's incredible.
Yeah. And I love this guitar, and it's pretty beat up, but that was my main guitar for years and years, and it came with a real nice case. And I've always loved thin lines.
I love tellies too. There's a company called Thunderbolt Guitars out of Michigan that
Oh, okay.
The guy was a fan of the show and hit me up after I had Joe Lally from Fugazi on. He wanted to build him a bass.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, hey, I'd like to build you a guitar. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, like, you just tell me what you want, I'll build it. And he does the aluminum necks, which I'd never played before. And he's a welder, like by trade. Mm-hmm. Dude sands the block of aluminum, like cuts it and sands it down by hand.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Exactly to the scale you want. I had him do a Tele Deluxe body, a Swamp Ash body.
Ooh,
the thing weighs 11
nice.
and a half pounds. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it feels great. Like, I wanted a heavy guitar, but anyways, but I love the Tele.
What's it called?
Thunderbolt. It's on Instagram, like at Thunderbolt Guitars.
I'll have to look at that.
His name's Nick. He does basses. He does, it's incredible stuff. I wish I had it here at the studio. I'd show it off, but that's what I chose. When like, you're going to get a custom guitar made, I chose a Tele.
Nice.
What is it about the thin lines that you like? Is it just the weight or like?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it is just that it's the first guitar. So I was in college and I had started playing in a band. First band I was ever in was called Willard. I know there was this band from Seattle called Willard. We were from Raleigh, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we knew there was another band called Willard, but anyway, so we were called Willard, and I was always borrowing guitars in the band. Like I had my friend Mark, I borrowed a guitar from him, and I think I borrowed my little brother's Les Paul for a minute, and I think somebody kind of loaned me. I had it was like a Squire Stratocaster or something that was kind of the guitar I had always, but it wasn't my guitar. I didn't actually own it. Somebody was loaning it to me, and so I was just kind of on the hunt for a guitar, and I went to some music stores in Raleigh, and I remember there were two thin lines, one at a different store and one at the store that I ended up buying it from, which I think was called Oxbow Music, which later turned into Harry's Guitar Shop. But when I think at the time when I was there, it was Oxbow. Anyway, so this other shop, I forget the name of the other guitar store, but they had a basically identical guitar, but theirs was cheaper, but it just didn't feel as good. The guitars kind of either feel right or they don't, and maybe it was just how it was set up. Yeah. The other one was like maybe $100 cheaper or something, and I remember being like, well, they have the same guitar over there, and it's this much cheaper. And then I made the mistake of I'm not much of a bargainer, I guess, because then I made the mistake of saying, but this one just feels better. And he's like, well, there you go. And I ended up buying the one that felt better and was slightly more expensive. I'm not really sure what the difference was. But anyway, I think the reason that I like the thin lines and is mostly because it was my first guitar, and it's kind of what I learned on, and it just feels comfortable to me and it feels familiar. And then I ended up playing a bunch of thin lines since then. But I think that's probably the main thing, is just that I liked, I kind of got it also partially because it looks, these days Telecasters are rock and roll as any other guitar, but they're kind of thought of as like a twangy country kind of thing. And I think I don't know if I really thought this through. I just really liked how this guitar felt, but I also kind of liked that I knew I wasn't going to play country music. In the band I was in, Willard, it wasn't country at all. We were trying to be, I don't know, I guess we were trying to be grunge or punk or something like that. But I was like, I'm going to play this guitar that looks kind of country, but in a punk band. And I thought there was something about that made it even more punk. But mostly it was just the guitar felt great. And actually this one you mentioned the weight, is it the weight? This one is mahogany, and it's actually quite heavy. Like I don't know how much it weighs, but compared to some of the other ones, this one it's not even though it's partially hollow, it's only a little bit, but I guess that's why they did that. I've heard that F hole was to reduce the weight of the guitar. But yeah, I don't know. I like them, and it's probably mostly because it was the first guitar I bought that was like my guitar, and I just, I was kind of stuck with it. Man. But I also, sorry, I'm just going to ramble again for a little longer, but so live actually, I'm trying to remember. I need to get my dates right here, but I've been playing also a Nick Huber Krautster, which is a German company. It's really a guy. It's I say company, but it's like him and like a couple of people. It's really pretty small, but they build they build a bunch of different guitars, but the one I'm playing is basically, it's a Les Paul Junior style guitar. And we were on tour in Germany, and one of the guys who works with the guy who builds them brought a couple of guitars to a show and was like, hey, I see your tour, starts here. I think we were starting in Germany, and then we went kind of around Europe, and then we were ending in Germany again. And he was like, I want you to take these with you and play them and try them out. And then I'll come to your show at the end of the tour, and I can get them back from you or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. And it was two Nick Huber Krautsters. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I would love to, be able to try these out. And I just fell in love with them. They just felt amazing. And they're basically, it's a Les Paul Junior style, real simple. The one that I mostly play, actually both of the ones that I have now, just one pickup, just a bridge position pickup. And they just feel amazing. And the craftsmanship is really nice on them. But anyway, so at the end of that tour, he was like, what did you think of the guitars? And I was like, I love it. I started playing it as my main guitar during this tour. And he's like, well, if you want, you can take that back with you and continue playing it. So he let me take one of them back to the US just as kind of a loaner, even longer loaner. And then eventually he's like, well, do you think you'd want to buy, would you want us to build you one of these guitars, a Krautster or whatever guitars? They build some fancier ones. I don't know, fancier. This one's like a Les Paul Junior, which is just a real basic Les Paul. And then they also do some arch tops and some more fancier Les Paul styles. They're not all Les Paul styles, but anyway, they do a lot of nice guitar stuff, but I really like the Krautsters. That's the model of the guitar. Anyway, so he let me take it back to the US, and then eventually was like, would you like us to build you a guitar? And I was like, well, I've really kind of fallen in love with this loaner that you are letting me play. Mm-hmm. Can I buy this one? So they let me buy that one. And then eventually, a little while later, I ended up getting another one from them, kind of made to my specs. Because normally it's a humbucker in the bridge and a P90 in the neck. And I just really loved the idea of really simple. So just one pickup, just a humbucker in the bridge position, and that's all I need. Although Brian has one with the P90 in the neck also, and I'm a little jealous of it now because you get more versatile sounds out of it, and P90s are pretty rad sometimes.
Dude, that's what I went with in mine. Hand wound P90s here in Portland. He sent the guitar, all the pieces, to Portland and had his guy here that does the electronics put the hand wound P90s in there. Oh, nice. Both positions, and it's just unreal. Yeah, those are really cool pickups. Oh, I love it. It's such a good middle ground, especially for a guitar that would be normally so twangy. You can get that shimmer out of it, but you can get that crunch too. Like, man, I had some knockoff, like Japanese Les Paul Junior style guitar, double cutaway. It had like a tortoise shell pick guard. I forget the name of the company, but you can find them now. Like they're around, but I sold it to pay rent one time. And that was the deepest. It had a hand wound P90 in it. It had this deep, rich sound. I played it with Portugal for like a year and a half. And it was so deep and lush. It was awesome. And I totally kicked myself because it was totally a $300 guitar that sounded like $1,000 guitar. Yeah, it sucks when you have to sell something like that. I haven't sold too many guitars. I have sold some records. I think only really once, and I'm like, oh, why did I sell that record? And guitars, I haven't really sold any because I'm sure I'll have that regret instantly. But hopefully somebody out there has that guitar and is loving it. So hopefully it continues. I hope so. I sold it to some like Rigs of Dad type guy, like that was totally just gonna sit in his office and whatever. But the other thing with the thin lines, I was thinking though, like Johnny Gorley from Portugal, his first guitar was a thin line. And one thing I noticed with it is he would write songs all the time. So he was always like, hey, check this part out on an acoustic. When he got the thin line, he didn't have to use the acoustic as much anymore because you can hear it better, especially in apartment life. which you probably didn't anticipate.
They have a little more acoustic projection than a normal, just fully solid body.
Have you seen that newer Fender like hybrid they did? That's like an acoustic electric, but it's like a Strat.
I've been really curious about it. Yeah. And nice. I know from what I've seen, because acoustics are hard to play. And this one seems like you get the nice acoustic, but it seems as easy as an electric to play. Yeah, I'm curious about those, but I don't have one of those. I actually only own one acoustic guitar, and it's a super cheapo thing. But yeah, that would be nice to have.
Yeah.
Although it would be nice to have just for writing and things like that. But
exactly.
But yeah, playing live in the band, I don't see Red Fang doing anything with. Oh, actually, I was going to say we wouldn't do anything with acoustics in a live set, but we actually did with Larry Crane from the guy who does Tape-Op. He was doing a little series of concerts or whatever you'd call them. It was at a hotel downtown, and we did an acoustic Red Fang set. So me and Brian both played acoustic guitars, and I can't remember what Aaron. I don't think Aaron played an acoustic bass. He played a actual, his normal bass through a little amp or something. But we have done an acoustic Red Fang set.
Did Larry record it?
Yeah, I think there's a recording of it somewhere. It was kind of it was a live thing, but yes, I'm sure he did record it.
Okay. I'd be
so yeah, that might be out there somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it was in a hotel, kind of on a little balcony in this in the lobby of a hotel downtown. If I remembered long enough, I'd think of the name of the place. But yeah, it's probably you might be able to find it on the internet. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Although, to be honest, how I was saying I was really nervous about playing just me to a camera or whatever, or even like to one other person or even just to friends. That's way more nerve wracking to me than to a lot of people. And acoustic is, again, way more nerve wracking than just making noise with an electric. I can hide behind all the distortion and the fuzz of a loud guitar way more than acoustic. It's it's just more revealing of everything basically. Although I mean I love some stuff like that, but it makes me nervous to try and do especially Red Fang type stuff where it kind of needs to be loud and fuzzy. But anyway, yeah,
it's interesting trying your hat at that and trying to strip stuff down and do it that way. I love stuff like that. When you see bands like you guys that are so loud, strip it down to something so primal, is like it's funny. It's even almost more primal than the primal sounds you're making with electricity.
That's true.
Is going to just wooden strings, that's it. That's true. What you were doing around the campfire way back. It's
that's a good way to think of it. Actually, it's even more caveman style,
closer
to caveman.
It truly is. There's what's his name? Zaster, I think is his name. He's like a black metal artist on like Hydra Head and stuff. Like, he now only does acoustic.
Oh, okay.
Acoustic, like folk black metal. It's crazy. It's awesome. The chords are insane. Like what he's doing, he's got like 3 guitar players. What you're saying about the guitars getting like dropped off to you on tour to try. Do you know Aaron Turner from like Sumac and ISIS?
I feel like I mean, I know of him. I'm not like best buds with him or anything, but yeah.
He had the same thing. Definitely the guy from Electric Guitar Company that does the aluminum guitar out of the airline parts is like, hey, do you want to try this guitar out on tour? He's like, yeah, sure. And then ended up endorsing him. And like, here's another one. You want to make your own custom model. And it was a Telly, by the way, the one that he did. It was awesome.
Nice.
Him and Buzz from the Melvins as well, like same company.
Oh, right.
But these small guitar companies are so incredible because they take so much care still. And you don't have 10,000. I mean, much to their detriment, they're not making millions of dollars, but you're one of the few people that's playing that thing.
Right. And I think Aaron has an electrical guitar company bass. Okay. I don't know how he got in touch with that guy, but he was like looking for this kind of bass, and he eventually got it. I think he discovered that on tour, I guess it depends on the tour. Like, we're still traveling in a van in the US. We're not in a tour bus. We don't have guitar techs. So it's a pretty small operation. But when it would be cold, it would be trickier for him to play that guitar with a metal neck
Mm-hmm.
than a wooden neck. So he ended up not using it as much, but they are badass guitars. They're really nice.
Oh, dude.
I would love to have a Tele style electrical guitar company, or, with the aluminum neck.
Dude, hit up Thunderbolt. I'm telling you, like, check out their design.
Thunderbolt.
Check it out,
So,
dude. He'll make the neck,
the
just the neck for you if you want, or the guitar.
The one you have, it's a aluminum neck, but with a wooden body.
Swamp ash body.
Nice. Yeah. That would be cool.
He'll make you just
sure.
the neck. He'll make you the whole guitar. He's got some custom designs he's done on there other than just the tellies and stuff. The one he just did looks like he'd be for Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. It's incredible.
Oh, nice.
It's such cool, like retro, sharp edged, like stuff. It's cool. You'll see when you check it out. But I got to ask you this though. Like, I don't do a lot of research for these, right? Like these podcasts, like we just chat. But one thing I am curious about when I talk to people that have done this is when you guys played Letterman.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience, because I've heard the TV experience from other people, but I like to hear it from everybody.
Yeah.
What your experience, how that came about, and then executing that as you guys, because I watched the performance and it was incredible, but it seemed like there's maybe a lot that goes into that.
Yeah. Well, I've always loved David Letterman.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got to do that, I was like, this is amazing. This is crazy that we're going to be on Letterman. I think it was our publicist at the time. I don't know, knew the music person there. There was some connection, and somehow they were like, yeah, we'll put this basically. I mean, not we were completely unknown, but like, playing on Letterman, you kind of think. I was surprised that they had us on there basically, because compared to some of the acts they have on there.
Yeah.
But and I was also very nervous about it because it's live TV. I mean, I guess if something massively went wrong, maybe they could redo it. Because I remember, basically, we went to New York and we had we had like a sound check pretty early in the day, and let's see, I'm trying to think if we went there for real early. We did a sound check, and then I think we left for a while. Then we came back and we did another with where they would actually move the cameras around. I don't know, maybe it's called blocking or something like that. Basically, where are you going to stand so we can kind of, figure out how the cameras are going to move around you. And we met Paul. I might be getting my timeline a little bit mixed up here, but we met Paul Schaefer and he agreed to play with us on the song, which I was again like, oh my God, Paul Schaefer's going to play on the Red Fang song. Like what? So we showed him kind of, here's the main parts of the song, and he picked it up, of course, instantly. Like he could just hear it and play along. And then we took a break and then came back, and I remember discovering this, and I don't think this is any kind of secret, but Letterman films 2 shows a day, every day, I believe, except Friday. So I think we were on a Thursday and they were doing 2 shows. They do one show in the first part of the day, and then they set up and they do the show that will be on the next night, I guess the Friday night. They do that in the evening. So they actually film 2 shows per day, every day except Fridays. I don't think they work on the weekends. But anyway, so there was whole nother show happening when we were there earlier. Anyway, I remember being like, I got to get enough sleep. I got to, be, top form for this, and being really nervous about it, and really excited about it. And then while we played, I don't know if really anybody could notice it, but I kind of blow the guitar solo when we actually played. There's this little bit where that's not really a solo, but basically I kind of go up and I kind of mimic the vocal line, and I somehow started off in the wrong place. So I don't know, I got jazzy with it because I was like, well, that's not where I'm supposed to be. So let's do something different here. And, of course I was hyper focused on that. And then was like, okay, and I recovered pretty quickly. But if you really know the song and really know like exactly what should be playing, I did not play the right thing. And that kind of bugged me for a minute. But then I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Nobody will know that I'm not doing exactly what I normally do. But yeah, I was nervous. I was very nervous. We did get to play with Paul Schaefer, which was awesome. We really didn't get to interact with David Letterman much at all. At the end of after we played, he came over and shook everybody's hand and made a little joke about John not having a beard because all the rest of us had beards. And I think I've heard that David Letterman has a thing about drum kits. Like he loves drum kits. He will always he'll either comment on a drum kit, and I think I've even heard about him offering to buy drum kits. I mean, maybe he's joking, but I think he's really into drum kits. Although I don't know if he plays drums, but it seems like he. I'm gonna have to do some research and figure this out. But I think he's really all about. He loves drum kits, or maybe it's just something he does to include the drummer. He's like, oh, that's a really nice drum kit. I don't know. But anyway, it was amazing, and it felt. I was like, wow, we played on Letterman, and it was fun and nerve wracking. Yeah,
man. The funny thing is, though, now David Letterman has one of the most amazing beards I've ever seen.
Oh, that's right.
Massive,
yeah, he really does.
Gray beard that is just
he really does.
Huge. So now maybe that's why maybe that's where he got the inspiration. It was that show. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna grow a beard.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pretend that he saw our beards and was like, I should grow a beard.
Yeah. I know.
Not a very good Letterman impression there, but anyway, yeah.
I can't remember what happened, but when Portugal did Jimmy Fallon, like Jimmy let him play twice because I don't know if John sang the wrong words to one of the verses, but he started getting like Jimmy was in the crowd, like getting people fired up, like throw your hands up, like totally like supporting everything. But he's like, do it again, play it one more time, and they got 2 shots at it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we didn't get 2 shots. I feel like they were kind of like, you don't really get 2 shots. If something massive happens, like string break or something, we can do it again. But you kind of get the 1 shot. And we did have a few friends in the audience that were there kind of like excited. So it felt like, we're playing to people who, because I think most people in the audience were just like, oh, who's this band? They weren't there to see us, obviously. But we did have a little bit of a few friends in the audience that got to see the show.
So were you guys the only musical guests then out of the 2 shows? The other show didn't have one?
I feel like, I guess there wasn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't.
Comedian or something.
Or you know what? Maybe there. Oh yeah, it could have been that. I kind of feel like there was another band. I feel like when we were getting there was another band, maybe loading out. I don't remember. I kind of feel like maybe there was another band there, but. Now I'm kind of blanking on that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'd be curious on that because I'm sure they probably do the 2 shows so they can have like a 3 or 4 day weekend or whatever, a 3-day weekend every week, 4-day week. Man, that's crazy.
I guess we could, you could go back and look at the shows and figure out the one before us or after, and figure out if there was a guest. I kind of think there was another musical act on there, but I don't really fully remember. Yeah.
Man, that's one of those moments, dude.
That was fun. And I didn't think at that point that we would be on that show. And we haven't really done another, we haven't done any live TV since then. Mm-hmm. So maybe we will.
Maybe again, for this record, dude.
Yeah, that would be great.
You guys should do Fallon. Just do it.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Conan's ending, I think. He's going away. I would totally do
that. Does Seth Meyer have live bands on his show?
Yeah. He does.
I would do that one too.
He's doing like other drummers. He has that drummers that are like filling in for like 2 weeks at a time, like YouTubers and stuff.
Okay.
I forget her name. There's she's awesome. This woman that has a huge YouTube channel for drums, and she's playing for him for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then
that's cool.
But then, who knows? It could go anywhere. And you got Kimmel still and all that, which would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that would be great too.
Outside or inside. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you had any other crazy moments like that? Like how is this real kind of moments? Like playing Letterman. I mean, you played with some big bands, like.
Yeah, well, that would be another one. Is when we played a couple of shows with the Foo Fighters.
Oh shit!
We opened for Foo Fighters in Paris and in Prague, and the Paris show was for us the largest indoor crowd we'd ever played to. We played some festivals that were outdoor, and maybe there was more people there at the whole festival, but this was, I don't know, 18,000, 20,000 people there to see Foo Fighters, basically. And we got to play for that crowd. So that was another pretty like, wow, this is crazy. And I remember we didn't get much of a sound check. They have just an insane, basically they build their own stage every night. They have these huge projector screens, and they've got, I want to say I think they had like 5 or maybe 6 or 7, even, like people who their job is just cameras. They're just moving around on stage and operating cameras. And they had kind of like somebody at mission control in the back, deciding which feeds from which camera is going to go up on the big screens. And it's quite a production. They have a lot of stuff going on. So we got like maybe 20-minute sound check. It was real quick.
Basic line check.
Yeah, okay. It was real quick. They were super nice to us, but there was some stuff that they had to work out. And so it was like, okay, guys, you're basically sound check and then go. And it worked out fine. Everything was cool, but that was a little nerve wracking again, because it was the largest indoor crowd that we ever played to. And the crowd was there to see the Foo Fighters. They weren't there to see us, but I feel like kind of by like, maybe halfway, 3/4 through our set, people were really starting to get into it, and I feel like we did a pretty good job. But yeah, that was another kind of like, holy shit, this is really happening. We're opening for the Foo Fighters. That was pretty cool.
That's wild, dude. Did any of the Foos come out like side stage and kind of make their, like, give kind of the crowd these guys are with us kind of thing, like Metallica does?
I don't know if they did. And
Stop
actually,
the bottles.
I don't want to see that. It would make me nervous if, like, Pat Smear, Dave Grohl, or any of those guys, Chris Shiflett, or any of those guys were like watching us from side stage. We did, kind of meet them briefly. We hung out just a minute. I remember we were eating. I think this might have been at the Prague show, and it was kind of like, hey, the food's up in the catering area. And I remember I handed Dave Grohl a fork. He needed a fork, and I was like, here you go. But yeah, we didn't really hang out with them much. But yeah, as far as them like being on the side of the stage, if they were there, I didn't want to see that. And that actually reminds me of another, I don't know, one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, wow, thing. We played the Orion Festival, which is Metallica's festival. I think they've done it twice, maybe 3 times. I want to say maybe they've only done it twice. But so it's a festival where, it's a bunch of bands supposedly chosen by Metallica, and then Metallica also plays. And so we got asked to play it, and I didn't know this was going to happen, but right before we were ready to play, we're kind of hanging out over there, and then they're like, "Hey, James Hetfield's going to introduce you guys." And I was like, "Oh, what? Okay." What? And then he came over, and we talked to him, and this was like, maybe 10 minutes before we're supposed to play, and he's James Hetfield from Metallica. I'm just like, I became an idiot. Not really. I just basically, I tried to not talk too much. But anyway, he was super just normal dude. I feel like he was wearing, this might not be right, but I feel like he's wearing shorts and flip-flops. So he was like, he's like a metal god, but he was just chilling. He was just a normal dude. He is a normal dude, but he's also, fucking Metallica dude. But so, and then I remember also noticing that he was on the side of the stage, and that made me really extra nervous. I was like, oh my God, we're playing, and there James Hetfield is right there. Like, that was a little nerve wracking. But I feel like we did a pretty good job. Although I feel like Aaron, he did this thing where we started a song, we had shifted tunings from like E to drop D or something, and Aaron forgot. was still in drop D or had forgotten to tune down to anyway, and he didn't notice it for a second. Then he just kind of adjusted and played until he could figure it out. But I think that might have been because James Hetfield was watching us play. So yeah,
Aaron didn't throw in a yeah while he sees him watching.
Yeah,
I would totally do that. I would 100% do that if I had that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably love that. He would probably love that.
Have you seen the compilation on YouTube of every one of them?
All his
in order, like year to year?
Oh, I think maybe I've seen it a while back. Yeah. That's like that's his go-to.
Tonight, dude. That's fantastic. I love that. I know Metallica is notorious for side staging bands that are opening for them. All the way back from Rollins was talking about this opening for Metallica, where the crowd is like, where's Metallica? And then they see Metallica on the side of the stage and like, okay, these guys are cool. We'll give them the chance, like, I think that's kind of their shtick, but, dude, yeah. Dave Grohl, 2-time Hall of Famer and, 13 Grammys.
Just the nicest guy ever. Seems like it, Yeah.
Puts out a TV show with his mom. If he was
on the side of the stage, it would have made me way too nervous I try not to focus on that. I mean, even really, to be honest, I'm not the kind of like, hey, look at me kind of performer. I'm not I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm there. I'm trying to focus on the music and trying to, make the music happen. I love it when some people play to the crowd or kind of posing and having fun with the crowd and all. That's not really my thing. And I don't want people to think like, I'm stuck up or something. It's just that if I look at the crowd, then I get nervous. So I need to just focus on the music and my playing so I can do a good job. But yeah, if there's somebody watching us, I try not to focus on that because then I'll kind of be taken out of my I'll be taken out of the moment of playing the song, and I'll be worried about, do we look cool or whatever, some stupid thing like that. I know we don't look cool, but anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do. It makes absolute sense. And that's the beauty of some of the like indoor stuff where the first 3 rows is all you see because of the lighting. I love that.
Yeah.
Because you just don't have, especially 18,000 people staring at you.
I don't want to see
doing the impress me bro, arms folded just like this, waiting for fucking Foo Fighters, like.
Yeah. But like I said, I feel like we kind of warmed up the crowd. By the end of it, by maybe 3/4, they were getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's badass, dude. Well, dude, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Like, what's the plan now with Arrow? Like, what's the plan that's been announced so far that you can talk about that you've got coming up?
Yeah. Well, US tour in the fall, and that's for about a month. And let's see. We're working on more videos. There's so there was the video with the katana sword for arrows.
Your videos are fantastic.
Oh yeah, we've been really fortunate to have some directors, some really creative film people who want to make videos with us, and it's awesome. Yeah. So we have that one directed by Whitey McConaughey, and then another one for Y, directed by Ansel Wallenfang, and that's his actual last name, Wallenfang. Anyway, and we're doing another one with Ansel, another video, and I don't really know if I can say much about it, but anyway, hopefully that's finished soon. We just did some shooting the other night, and from the little bits that I've seen, it's going to be cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, more videos, tour coming up.
Is that a headliner?
Yeah, okay, it's cool. Us and band called Starcrawler, who are cool. They're kind of new to me, but they seem really cool. So it's us and Starcrawler for the whole tour, and then kind of trading off in different parts. A band called Here Lies Man and Warish, which is they're gonna do parts of the tour. Okay, but yeah, so it'll be us headlining, and then hopefully. If things, get back to normal, then we're hoping to get back over to Europe. It's in the works, but I don't have anything definite that I know about yet.
Okay. Well, dude, this is awesome that things are getting back to normal. I've loved nerding out with you about gear and guitar shit.
This was fun.
I usually don't do that, but for some reason I just felt right, I love it. And, man, have you done a podcast called The Tone Mob?
The Tone Mob.
Yeah.
I have not.
Okay.
Maybe Aaron or Brian have. We've been doing a lot of interviews recently.
I've seen that. The Tone Mob. It's a guy named Blake. He's on my same network, but his whole podcast is gear based, like the whole thing. It's a rad podcast, but one of you guys may have done it, but you should absolutely do that podcast because you guys could go down a rabbit hole. And he lives in Oregon City.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I tried to not do this while we were talking.
No,
look
it's all
at
good.
The web. I've got Thunderbolt guitars, which I'm going to check out, and now Tone Mob. I don't think I have done one of these, but yeah, I would love to do that.
Cool,
that would be cool.
I'll have him reach out to Monica. She's the best publicist in the world, by the way. You guys, nail
she's
it
great.
with her. She's awesome. So when you go to Thunderbolt Guitars, you find that it's like a dark wood stained Tele Deluxe with P90s and the aluminum neck. That's mine. You'll see it there. It's nice. On the Instagram. But yeah, dude, the thing's a beast. It's awesome. But dude, David, I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, this was great.
And hopefully I'll get to see you at a show soon and figure out all these mutual friends we've never met.
I know.
Each other.
Yeah.
But
nice to finally meet you sort of face to face here virtually in this meeting, but close enough. This was really fun.
Awesome,
nice.
Brother. Well, I appreciate it. And all the best of luck to you in the coming year here and getting back to normal. And man, cool. Keep on keeping on.
All right. Well, thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Nice talking with you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to that episode with David Sullivan from Red Fang. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed chatting with him very much. I learned a lot about his gear and what he's into. I love talking guitar stuff. As much as we don't do it on this show, it's definitely a passion of mine. And so it was fun to do that for a little while on that episode. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff, heard of some cool guitars you've not heard of before, and some gear and all that. So, and hopefully you guys check out the new Red Fang because it's really good. And they're going to be back on the road soon. And hopefully if shows stay coming back, things have been jumping off like crazy, but also the variant is targeting through so many people, including people that have been doing shows again. So everyone be careful out there. Wear a mask if you can, wash your hands, and just stay safe. We want shows to come back. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, I definitely recommend it. I can't tell you what to do, but I have a feeling that the more people that aren't vaccinated, the worse it's going to get. So if we have a way to stop it, let's do that. Just want everyone to be safe and happy. So thank you guys so much for coming back week after week. I really enjoy having you guys here. We've been doing a lot of episodes, putting out, one a week. I might start doing 2 a week because we have a bunch in the can. I've been recording at a new studio as well. The studios of X-Ray.FM here in Portland, X-Ray FM Radio. They've been letting me use the studio during the week, and I'm here at Equal Vision during the weekends. So big thanks to X-Ray FM. You can check them out online, just xray.fm, or you can listen to them at 107.1 FM here in Portland, and check out a lot of really rad eclectic music, everything from world music to punk rock to EDM. All that stuff is on there. It's really a cool station, and I appreciate having them on board with the show. So I'm going to quit rambling on. I love each and every one of you very much. I really, really appreciate having you guys back week after week. Keep spreading the word of mouth. Go and rate and review the show on iTunes if you can. Spare just a minute and do that. It really helps us out. And as always, we'll see you on the radio.